Yeah.
This is my downtime, baby. Let's get it done.
What the hell just happened?
I'll tell you another thing. I have never worked a job that I sat around and complained about how hard it was. I either said nothing at all or would laugh it off. The worst possible day you could imagine, I would giggle and say it's the easiest job I ever had. It was always lying. But no one wants to hear that trash, right?
Yeah. Hey, Squatch, you do StreamYard a lot more than I do. Up here on the upper right, where it has the right next to the in stream button, it has my emoji that I'm streaming to me, but then there's a second one next to it that's just like
Probably Remy.
It's me. I'm streaming over to my audience as well.
Yeah, right, I could, but I'm not doing it.
No. You got your audience stuff.
No, I didn't come in at the beginning. I have no idea what we're actually going to be talking about. I have first time I've ever been to the channel. You didn't mention it, so I'll be getting off here in a few minutes. It's not.
I wouldn't care if you did or you didn't. It doesn't matter to me. But yeah,
I would like to offer a bit of advice on that point, though.
Yes, sir.
That restreaming thing is very powerful. It is also unbelievably dangerous. You, Mr. Zackson, are in control of this stream.
Yeah.
If you, and I'm not saying you would, I'm just simply saying accidentally let somebody up to porn that porn bombed you, and he's restreaming to his channel, both y'all's channels are smoked.
Yeah.
And all it takes is just a second to make an error. That's it.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, we've been through that over and over with who we hang out. Basically, no camera. If your camera doesn't show, you can't come on. Period. and once it does happen, it's just immediately into everything, delete the video on YouTube, and you can usually
shut down.
Did you get to it quick enough? Yeah. But let me show you something that will ruin every plan you've got to prevent it from happening.
What in the heck?
I can put anything on this screen I choose to put here, including you, and come in as you on your own show, showing you from a previous video or from this current live stream, or come in as him. I will get in there. You will let me ruin your channel if I decide to do that trash. But I quit that long ago. I'm a retired troll. I don't do any of that stuff anymore. Instead, I sit around and go, ooh, ah.
There you go. No, that's good. It's great advice, and we know about the porn bombs a little bit. It's all in your computer skills. Where did you get your computer skills?
Mine?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's kind of weird. Back in high school, we did a few coding classes. We did a couple of editing classes, and we did a couple of camera management classes. That would be like 1994, 93, right? I worked with a little bit of a solid state OBS board type thing. I had access to a mixing board and a handful of computers, and I learned a little bit of coding language. I then went to work and did not touch a computer until I was 42. Nothing more than a video game with a controller. And I sat down with this computer to start this channel that I'm currently operating. And I learned everything in the past couple of years.
Nice. I'm all self-taught. I did a little bit in school, but I'm not a computer nerd or nothing like that. But everything I know how to do is self-taught just because I adapt.
That's part of the reason why I offer the After Dark section of my show. A lot of people don't show up to take advantage of it, but if I know how to do something, I have no problem helping somebody else figure it out. Because here's the thing. I can't tell you how to do it because I don't know what kind of computer you have. I don't know what kind of resources you're working with. I don't know what the size of the files are you're pulling. I don't know what type of any of that. So I can't tell you this will work. Yeah. I can tell you how I do it and 4 other ways to do about the same thing.
Yeah. No, I completely understand that. I live, my entire work is in a very exacting, vague as shit field. You got to be very exact with what's wrong, but there's a whole lot that could be causing that.
Mm-hmm.
And I completely understand that. I can't tell you how to do it. I can do it. Electrical. I can do electrical all day long. It doesn't bother me for the most part unless I'm working on weird shit. But I can do electrical all day long. It doesn't bother me one bit. You call me on the phone and ask me to walk you through diagnosing your electrical. I can't do it. I'm madder than fucking. I probably don't even like you anymore. I just can't do it.
I don't mess with electrical in the first place, dude. I can't see it coming. I can't hear it coming. I can't smell it coming. And it's trying to kill me currently, right now.
Yeah, I do it. I do it on home. I do it at work. I stop at 220. On the home stuff, I won't go over 220. Dicking around with home stuff at home. I've been zapped by 220 before. It sucks ass.
Yeah, it's no fun.
220. I won't. I do building houses and stuff, and I won't touch 220, but I'm not certified in an electrician. Like, I'll deal with 110. I will not touch 220.
I won't touch 220 hot. I used to touch it hot. I used to touch 110 hot. I'm still willing to touch 110 hot, although I try not to. But I got bit fucking with 220 hot, and 110 stings a little bit. It's gone.
220 will lock you on it.
Yeah, 220 lock you on a little bit.
I got one. I got a good one, and I shouldn't have done this to this man, but I was a little drunk. He was really drunk. The other guy involved was drunk. I was staying at this really crappy house out in the middle of nowhere. It was actually the old shotgun shack that I met my wife at, but that's another story. There was a horrendous juxtaposition of there was no actual panel box in this place. It was all fuses and stuff, right? Like, we're talking ancient.
You're probably that round little glass one still.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah,
exactly. had the fucking bus bars up at the top. Anyway,
yeah.
Okay, so
make me cringe thinking about it.
And the chick I was dating at the time was washing dishes, and I'm cooking eggs over here, and I get done with something, and I got my hand on the eye. I got my hand on the pan, touching the eye, and I hand her a pot with my hand. She's got her hand in the water, the hot water, and she reached over, grabbed that pot, and it knocked us both out. Like, blam, flatline. We just sat up on the floor a little while later going, what the hell just happened? Like, what in the world?
I've seen.
Okay. Hold on. Fast forward 2 weeks later, a dude shows up and he's hitting on all this chick's friends. Like, he's really making an ass of himself. He's grabbing on them, pushing on them, and he's drunk. The owner of the house asked him to leave. My buddy is over here cooking, and he's over here washing his hands in the hot water of the sink. And I told him, bro, you can leave, or I will touch you in your forehead and make you see the face of God. And he's like, dude, don't you even. I reached over and grabbed Cecil's arm and put my finger right in the middle of his head and knocked him clean out. 210 volts right between the eyes. Wow. It hurt me. And I thought Cecil was going to whip my ass just outright because he wasn't expecting that at all.
There was a guy next door where I grew up, and this guy was a professional millwright, and he had 220 ran in his garage for his welder. And there was an open junction box. He walked by on a humid, hot day when he had the power on. The open junction box with wires hanging out a little bit. He walked past it, and it jumped him. Walking past it, he was a couple inches from it, but it jumped him because it was so humid, and he was all wet and sweaty from working and welding and shit.
The most nervous I've ever been around electricity, when I was working for Duke Floor Daniel, we were doing a power plant over here in Georgia, and I can't really speak about it because of the non-disclosure agreement involved, but suffice it to say that one of the 440 main cables, one of them 3-strand big jobs, had been buried, and we had to uncover it. And they brought a specialized team in to do it, and they broke their equipment when they started the job because they usually work in sand, and this was in Georgia red clay. You might as well be beating that shit against a brick. My lead man comes over to me and goes, Sasquatch, we got to get that cable out of the ground. Do you reckon you could go uncover it? And I turned and pointed at the greatest trackhoe driver I have ever seen in my life. This man could strike matches with a trackhoe. I'm not joking. Dead serious. He'd set your freaking VCR time. he put some beanie weenies in the microwave and cook them for 45 seconds. Like, he's badass with that thing. And I was like, you go get Jack. You get Jack to agree to do this, and I will uncover that wire. I said, but I'm doing nothing else. That's all I'm doing. He's like, all right. We made 148 foot of that wire free before we did not cut it. We found a cut part in it. And the very second I found that part, they gave me a flare, the big smoker flare. And if you cut into it, break the flare and stand flat footed, don't move, that whole 9 yards. I popped that flare, tossed it over my shoulder, stood on 1 foot for an hour before they come over and said it was clear. And then I took the rest of the day off, come in and started again the next morning. By the end of the first week, I smelled like mushrooms. My whole body smelled like fear.
We had a guy down here at our local military base. The electrician was training a new guy, or a new electrician, whatever. I don't know what voltage it was or anything like that. But the guy's walking him around, and he takes him over to the panel or wherever the open voltage is, and he's explaining to him, don't go near this, blah, 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 it'll kill you. And he waved his hand by the panel.
I've seen the dude blow off his finger doing that very thing, pointing at stuff. And don't put your hand between this and this. Tow! Somebody call an ambulance.
Yeah, that's why I stay right away from that shit, dude. Like, I'm comfortable with getting hit with the 110, you know what I mean? That don't bug me any, but definitely not playing around with like 220, 240, 3-phase, like Mushroom Manny was saying. Like, definitely not farting around with any of that stuff. I'll call somebody to do it just because I don't want to mess up.
Well, that's exactly the reason he come and got me to do it, was because I was the only one safety classed out on that stuff and wasn't an electrician.
Yeah, he's saying arc flash is real. Yeah, that's real shit, dude. I seen somebody walk past the junction box open and it jumped them, dude. Like, I was like, dude, no way. Like, 110, I'm the worrywart that has the freaking probe tester on me the whole time I'm working with stuff, you know? I know it's off, but if somebody went downstairs and they were farting around with it, I'm going to double, triple check real quick before I start farting with it, because
I'm not doing the job.
Popped outlets, and I don't want to have a fire happen. I have PTSD over houses catching on fire.
I understand people have to work. I have so many skills that I've gotten from being fired from so many jobs that I can walk away from this job today and go right down yonder to the next place over yonder, and I guarantee you there is something there I can do worth money.
He's got the Wayne's World of construction shirts.
Sorta.
What? You got a roofer? Hold on, let me find that one. Yeah, I'm a roofer today.
Yeah, no, I'm off the mark. As a byproduct of my attitude and how I respond to people and how I don't really think about the things I say before it comes out, you know, I got fired from a whole lot of jobs just because people can't take a joke. And as a byproduct of that, I have a very impressive list of skills that none of them are really professional level, except for my window making and carpentry skills. Those are full on brake. I'm an expert at brakes as well. If it stops, I can stop it.
That's awesome.
I mean, and here's the funniest thing. I got a head injury a few years ago. And right after that happened, I was really, really confused about a bunch of stuff. And I kept having people come by, and they would come in and tell me about how horrible their brakes were. And I'd be like, man, that's real tough. I don't know. Maybe you should take it to a shop or something. That's what I'd do. And they'd just look at me funny and leave. And then one day my dad came over, and he was talking about how bad his brakes were and how he needed to have them changed, and how he had the pads in the truck. And I was like, yeah, sounds pretty rough. You should probably get those changed. He's like, get in the truck. What's up? He's like, get in the truck. I got in the truck. He took me to the hospital, gave me an MRI. I had a hematoma over half my brain over here. I didn't know what the hell was going on. I had no idea. I had gone for a walk one day that week and gotten lost right down the street from my house. Not a block away.
You from down south, Sasquatch? I heard you talk about that Georgia clay. I just come up from there on 2020. I was down in Mobile.
I'm near, not far from Milledgeville, just south of Atlanta.
All right.
2 hours, 2.5 hours south of Atlanta.
Yeah. Oh, you're talking Georgia. Yeah, no, I was in Alabama, but I was in Georgia before that.
Yeah, but that's if you're in the Piedmont, the fall line, that's got the same red clay. That stuff will stain God if he touches it.
We went out on one of these people's they had like this family ranch. It was more like a homestead, man, like a legit homestead. And we had this like 4-wheel drive mud truck that they let us ride in and shit. We just took it out in the cow fields, the cows out there and shit. That truck was like dark green when we left, came back in, and that thing was red, bro. It was caked on 2-3 inches thick, man. And cow shit.
You know what color this clay is? When you're riding through town, you might not see it in California so much, but you've seen it on movies. The red bricks that you see schools made out of, that's the dirt he's talking about. The same red is that.
We get crap out here called caliche clay. It's just slicker than snot. A little bit of clay, but it's not the stain everything clay like everybody else has, or like other places have. It's just slick as fuck.
This stuff's called kaolin, and it is sleep. Oh, good God!
Yeah, it's
lose an entire tractor in this shit.
Yeah, if it gets wet, it's like, yeah, dude, it's like a slip and slide. So we went up this one cow hill, and we were going like this. I swear to God, this thing has super swampers on it. They're probably 44, 45 inch tall, freaking 12-inch wide at least. Hammering up this hill 4-wheel drive high. We get halfway up this thing, and this freaking mud slick snot shit had the thing slip right down sideways, and we're back on our trip downhill, bud. Try again.
Been there.
And you know what would make you mad? I'd take a front wheel drive Tercel and drive up that hill because I've got but I won't drive in snow. I can drive on that trash. I'll ride right out that road.
2-3 inches of snow on top of it, bud. It wasn't that fun, man. Like that. No. That's one of them 4.0 Jeeps. So they're tanks, man. But it couldn't take it. It just too slick.
What I'm driving right now is a 3.3 Xterra supercharged. That thing go anywhere. Like
I haven't checked into those much. I ain't seen them.
Nissans have a bad reputation in the U.S. just because of their gas engines. But worldwide, they're actually very capable 4-wheel drives, up to and including the point if you can get your hands on a fucking Nissan GU, they're even harder to destroy than a Land Cruiser. The engines aren't as good, but the axles, the running gear under the Nissan GUs are even tougher than the Land Cruisers.
I like the D21s.
Nissan has a pedigree for off-road. It's just in America, the gasoline engines in everything is holding everybody back. If we were diesel like Australia, Nissan would be right up in the pinnacle of everything.
And I'm aware of the negatives of that supercharger, but brother, coming from a regular air aspirated 3.3 to that supercharged 3.3 is a whole different thing.
Oh, my mom has one of the cleanest specimens of an 03 Xterra you can imagine. Little old lady driven. She's probably barely cracked 110,000 on it.
How much you want for it?
Well, I'm trying to get her to get rid of it. I'll keep you in mind. But it's ultra.
Give me a reason to come out there, see if I don't.
It's an ultra clean specimen. It's 2-wheel drive, but it's ultra clean specimen. But it's like the fucking engines in those things. It's a turd. It's a gutless turd.
I don't know, man. I like mine. I like mine a lot. Like a whole bunch. Now,
yeah, you got a supercharger. Difference.
Yeah, now the truck, the Frontier that I had, that thing was I felt like, I swear to God, and I hate to say this out loud, but I felt like every time I drove that truck that I needed to get out and push.
Yeah.
Everyone was just a little sluggish, you know.
And you think you got it bad in that? My Land Cruiser right now it's a 92, so it's only an FJ80, not an FJZ. So the thing puts out like 200 horsepower. Something really, really low. Christ, man, when I leave out on my Explorer tomorrow, it'll feel like I'm really pushing it to do 65, 70. You know, I'm really in it, and I'm like, man, I'm driving this thing really hard. After I get through the day of going wide open throttle up everything, because that's the only way it goes, is wide open throttle up everything. I come back doing 85.
Well, here's the thing that got me about the difference between the Xterra and the Nissan and the Frontier. Same year model, same engine. The difference is about 4 feet because that Frontier was the 4-door king cab job, crew cab or whatever you call it.
Yeah, my hunting buddy got one.
Full size bed. It was long like a bus, endless hellscape of 3-point turns. Right, everywhere I went, the engine felt underpowered. On paper, it should work out. It should do well. So when I sold it to a 16-year-old kid, and I told him straight. I pulled him to the side. I told him straight up. I said, "Listen to me. This thing will feel like you need to get out and push. It's running fine. I have replaced everything on this vehicle that could possibly be wrong with it, with the exception of the lower control arms. You'll have to do that real soon. The starter's new. This is new. The water pump's new. That's new. Everything in here is new. It's had a tune-up, everything. $6,000 truck. Give me $2,500 and never call me about it again."
I just put a 3-inch lift in that one. That seemed a little underpowered too. He's got the V6.
No, yeah, the exteriors are under. Exteriors, Frontiers, the 3.
We didn't do tire change. We just I put a 3-inch body lift in it with a leveling kit, so it was 3 in the front, 2 in the back. I mean, I tried telling him he needed a camber fix or a new set of knuckles up front, and he didn't listen. He's got single control arms up front, so you're fucking towed like this driving down the road, ran his outside treads off his brand new tires. I was like, bro, I told you that was going to happen if you didn't do it. Yeah, it was underpowered. It's a pig. For V6, dude, they should have way more grunt than that.
Well, this one's pulling down about 210 horsepower on that little Xterra, and it feels like more. She's peppy and sporty. I enjoy it.
Is that stick, though?
No.
Because the older Xterras, the boxy ones, they drove like freaking pickup trucks, bud. The leaf spring rear end and everything, like they were solid.
Yeah.
See, most of it comes down to gearing, which you know all about, Remy. I have a full-size Blazer. It's actually a 93 full-size Blazer with this stock engine. It's got an ignition tune on it. Just one of those stupid little HEI ignition tuners. I don't even know what brand it is. It was on it when I got it. But the engine is 100% stock besides that. But due to gearing, the fact that it's geared to 456s, I can spin 3 35-inch tires on demand. Yeah. You know, I can squeal the 2 rear ones on pavement. I would never dare do that in 4-wheel drive.
You just won't be able to whine out top end on it.
No, it winds out. It does. It's perfect power.
What's your top speed?
You only go so fast. You know,
I mean, that's kind of a steep ratio still, but what's the top speed on it, getting it up there? Where does it seem like it's screaming too much?
Hell, I don't know. Once it gets up to 70, I don't push them any farther. They're off-road trucks.
You haven't had to go up past that. All right.
You know.
If you're holding 65, 70, where's your RPMs at?
23 maybe, 25 maybe.
A little bit higher than stock. That ain't too bad. That's an overdrive?
Yeah. But I mean, it's a Blazer, so it's short anyway. 6-inch lift on 35s. Anything over that, you're just death wishing it anyway. You have no recover in a short wheelbase like that. You're just
what size height tire did you have on that one?
35s.
Yeah. You've got a way bigger outer diameter tire on there. You've got to go up on gear, you've got to go with a shorter gear to make that happen.
Yeah, I'm when I screw with my Land Cruiser, I'm going to re-gear the shit out of it too, and I'm going to make that little 4.0 have some power.
So you're bigger than a 410 now, right? You said you were at 450 something?
The Blazer's 456s, the Land Cruiser's 410s.
Yeah, they even out that tire difference there.
Well, the Land Cruiser's on 32s, but the Blazer just has way more power. Part of it's V8 torque, but just all the gearing. You get in a stock Blazer, it is not going to spin 335s. And I notice
you'll get tranny slip first.
Oh yeah,
they slip like a fucker, bud. Them stock trans on any of those Blazers, they always did that. I used to bring them 4-wheel, and you get them up on an incline like this. You stop them in the middle, give it the gas after, and let off the brake. It'll just sit there and spin the torque converter out, bud. Don't even try.
that truck will climb anything I pointed at.
Yeah.
It'll do it spinning tires. I've actually had to condition myself into running around in 4 low more in it or 4 high more in it, just because I like spinning rear tires. But I just coughed up for a brand new set of 35s, and I don't really want to do that again soon.
Right.
My dad had the 1500 Silverado Blazer. It was a 97, the big ones, but just before they did that, the whole entire you can't make SUVs so big the dealerships can't manufacturers. Remember that shit? Well, back when they were talking about SUVs being too tall and stuff, and people were rolling them. Well, right then, that's when they started making their trucks lower to the ground. But he had one of the 97 two-doors with a 350 in it. He had 30s on it, and that thing was a freaking beast, bud.
Beast. That's what mine is the full-size Cheyenne.
You got a 5.7.
I got a favorite that I always wanted. I never managed to get my hands on it. Two of them, actually. In the mid-90s, I think it was 91, 92, somewhere around in there. GMC made the Psycho.
Yeah, the Cyclone and the Twister.
Cyclone, that was it.
Yeah, there was two of them. They had the Cyclone and the Twister. They did the S10 Blazer and the pickup.
Right. Those things was all-wheel. They were basically Astro vans on steroid and acid.
Yeah,
with turbo. Yep, turbo. They were the fastest production pickup truck.
I have searched the universe for one of those things. Busted, blowed up, trashed out. I didn't care. They're rarer than hen's teeth.
If you're trying to find one, the only place you're going to find one will be in a wrecking yard in the desert Southwest.
Yeah, and or you're going to have to build it yourself.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. I was just going to say, do you watch Mike Finnegan?
Is he the one that built the Cyclo, the Psych PSYK clone?
The Cyclone, SIKE clone. Yeah, that dude that used to work with him. What he did was took the Astro transmission and the front end from an Astro, slapped it in a S10 body, and then he just went and did the turbocharged. He went with the cast block because the aluminum block he got was kind of junk, but he's down on power a little bit because it's a cast block. They've tried.
I watched that whole build, dude. I loved that whole sequence.
Yeah, me too. It was dope.
See, I seen a Cyclone many moons ago. I don't remember where I was at when it happened exactly, but I remember seeing that freaking Sonoma roll out and fall all four tires on the way out of that parking lot. And I was like, what the? I mean, he pulled Corvette numbers.
Yeah.
Like, he was pulling down serious freaking
numbers. Yeah.
Squirt, gone.
Yeah.
And I gotta have one of that.
All you had to do was pay for it, put the key in it, and go.
Yeah, you have a better chance of finding a Buick Grand National GNX.
You're right.
Grandma driven Buick Grand National GNX than you do finding a Cyclone. The production number was so low.
It was only like 1,200 or some shit like that. It wasn't many at all.
For the most part, people didn't realize what it was until it was gone.
Mm-hmm. The other thing I've been searching the universe for a short period, they made a super sport Blazer.
They did.
It was a 350 with the full Corvette kit build. The whole thing was HO, everything. It's basically a Corvette. It's basically what you'd look at as a Trackhawk today, but it was a Blazer.
Yeah.
Those things are amazing. And I think Saab rebadged a handful of those things. I think it was Saab. You can get them in another brand. I can't remember what it was. I think it's Saab J7 or something like that. Hold on a second. I'll look it up.
Yeah, they've come out with a lot of one-off cars. I honestly didn't know anything about the Grand National. I had heard about them before, but I didn't know anything.
Yeah, that GNX. That's a bad little car, bro.
Dude, all my life, the only thing the guys around here talk about are the 3 Grand Nationals that regularly just smoke everything in the county.
I didn't know anything about them. We had a customer had us bring one back from the dead. They bought it new, but they brought it into me. So I got it going. I replaced the front crank seal for no reason. It's a rope seal. They leak anyway. I did this. I did that. I got it running, and it ran like absolute shit warm. And I told the customers, or cold. I said, I called the customers. I'm like, it runs like shit, Cole. We're trying to figure that out. And they said, oh, it's always done that. Don't worry about that. We'll come and get it. And these are old people. I mean, really old. He's a preacher and his wife. They were really nice people most of the time. But they showed up out of the blue to pick it up one day. So I pulled it around and it's running like shit. I said, oh, let me go warm it up for you. And I knew it was turboed and all that by now because I'd been working on it. Let me go get some temp in it for you so it's at least drivable. Oh, okay. So I took off out of my parking lot and I didn't understand how well they ran.
Yes, sir. That sounds accurate.
So I turned it out of the parking lot and I put my foot about 3/4 in it to try and get it to go. And they got that goofy little pansy ass sound. You know, that little 6-cylinder horn ass. And I came back and I guess I was wide-eyed and the old man looked at me and, you know, they obviously heard me because they were in the parking lot there. The old man looks at me. He says, you didn't know, did you? I said, no, I didn't know.
There's a couple of features in that thing. Did you happen to check out the front end under it? The way it attaches the engine block to the chassis?
Yeah. I don't remember.
That whole engine, when you go into a heavy turn, the way the suspension rides together, the engine shifts over. It settles the whole front end down and leans into the turn. The whole car, both rails twist a hair to get into that turn. So when you turn, you just stick to the ground. No air force. We're not talking down force. We're just talking changing the attitude.
It's weight transfer.
Yeah.
You know what one I haven't seen in a while? The Dodge Daytona GT. The 90 one. The 90s.
The Wraith. Yeah. The Wraith drove one of those.
They had red leather interior with yellow decals and the gaudy yellow lettering on the seats. And yeah, dude. They got the moonroof. Yeah. I ain't seen those in a minute, but I seen one online, the V6 one, and I was like, God, man, I need that.
Anybody seen a Sunfire actually driving anywhere?
Sunfire? Yeah.
A Sunfire.
We just sold one. Not running, but we just sold one to another guy.
No, running. If it's not running, it doesn't count.
Yeah. I've seen them sitting in yards, bro.
You should get a dozen.
Fucking hard-ons for them for some reason. We had this shit yellow one sitting in our lot for 10 years. Really clean, but sitting in our lot for 10 years. And the boss finally decided to put it on Facebook. And the dude's brother spotted it and came by. And they were afraid to leave because they were thinking someone else was going to take it. And we're like, no, dude, it's yours. You know, nobody's fucking coming for this thing. No. So bad we could not bring ourselves to tell them that not only are you fucking crazy for wanting it, but you're fucking crazy for following the damn things.
I had a cousin call me up one night, and I've been working with this dude for about a year trying to get him a decent car under him, and he'd send me ads for stuff, and I'd send him like Facebook Marketplace ads, you know, back and forth, just playing Facebook tag.
Yeah.
He sends me, get this, he sends me a picture of an HHR.
Oh, fuck.
And he's like, I know it kind of looks like a PT Cruiser. I said, bro, do not buy that car. He's like, well, I really like the guy, and he wouldn't do me that way. I said, dude, do not buy that car. Listen to me. Those cars were not designed with large enough radiators. The water pumps are underpowered. They overheat straight off the showroom floor. I guarantee you it will be in limp mode by the end of the week. I don't know how he's going to keep it out of limp mode, but it will be long enough for you to be stuck with that thing. Do not buy that car. It lasted 7 days exactly.
We get all kinds of crap, obviously, but some of this stuff these people buy, it's just you feel bad for them. No, Robert, that was the problem with Sunfires. You could not kill that little steel block fucking engine, but the rest of the car around it was just trash.
Yeah, they rot the shit.
I remember one of my girlfriends and moms in high school had a Sunfire, and I remember ripping the door latch off of it when I tried to open it. Yeah. It was brand new, and I just ripped that sucker right off.
Panels come off too.
You guys are bringing up crap cars from GM. Anybody remember the Berettas?
Oh my God!
Hey! I was just thinking them. Get out of my head, man! Don't be hating on the Berettas, bro.
I love that car, dude.
The Beretta,
those things are badass.
You were fucking had it chained back there.
But it was trash.
Those V6 ones, dude. The Corsica. That's what I was thinking of because my mom had a Corsica LT, grandma-looking car, but it would roast the tires off from it, bro. 3.2 liter multi-port fuel injection. That thing ripped.
The Berettas, those were interesting cars.
They're so stupid though. See, when I like the look of them, right? When you see one coming, you see it go, and it was almost a Corvette, almost a Camaro, almost something really, really cool, but not quite. I broke my heart the first time I popped the hood on that thing and realized that thing was a transposed engine.
Yeah.
I'm not even joking. I walked up to the lot, walked over to it, checked it out, man. I was fixing to buy me this thing. I'm gonna have that Beretta. I wanted one. I've been wanting one forever. And I popped the hood on it, looked up front, lifted it, went blam. I've been lied to, and I just turned and walked away. I ended up getting me a little Mazda.
Well, it's just like comparing the Impala SS to the GTO, the mid 2000s ones. The GTO is a real rear wheel drive monster of a little 5.7 car. The Impala SS is the transposed 5.7.
It's still a 350.
It is a 350. It's an LT.
And it's the highest horsepower stock one that they made.
It's an LT.
That one is 310-ish horsepower.
But it's front wheel fucking drive.
Get the freaking transmission off it and stick a freaking new plate on there and put a T56 or something behind it.
Y'all know any drag racers?
Do I?
I drag race.
Straight up like freaking cars, regular cars, not paddle boats or whatever it is you're doing. You got a dirt track or something, right? What are you running?
No, I drag race at Lebanon Valley Dragway in New York.
As like you were talking
on
about
asphalt, 1,320 foot quarter-mile runs.
All right, so I have this engine transmission in my car over here that I have absolutely no use for. It's probably 10 grand worth of drag race engine, 396, absolutely built.
Right.
I can't drive it with the gas here. I'm gonna have to rip it apart to put local gas in it. And that just seems like a heartbreak to me when all I really want is like a solid LS sitting in it that I can crank up and drive to California and back if I wanted to. I'm not trying to turn donuts. I have no interest in having 700 horsepower. That's
if you feel like it, if you have Facebook, find me under Remy Bartholomew and just send me a couple pictures if you can. And do you have a build sheet? Because that's going to be what these guys are going to ask. Dude. They need to know what's in the damn thing.
Maybe.
Right.
I bought this thing like 10 years ago. I have to see if those records are still there. If the records are there, I do have it there.
Yeah, because that's the one thing that I know they're going to want to. They're going to want to see a build sheet if it's got parts and it needs different octane and whatnot. What's the ignition system? What size heads do you got on it? What size valves, camshaft, all that.
I get that.
Cindy. Hello, Cindy.
She's shots fired, buddy.
The only thing worse than the Sunfire, just out of the box, in my opinion.
Sorry, Cindy.
PT Cruiser.
Oh, fuck those.
PT losers, bro. Oh my God.
I know a woman who bought one brand new and drove it until the day she died. It went through 15 heads under warranty.
Oh, my first question was going to be, did she live very long?
About 6 years, but it was she got it under warranty and managed to keep the warranty active the whole time she had that car. That thing spent more time in the shop than my truck did.
The little Fiat 500s.
The problem with them now, with the PT Cruisers now, you can't get crap for them. The instrument clusters are going bad right and left. We can't repair them. People are coming in with their cars and they're like, well, I need it fixed. Well, we can't do anything for it. We can't get parts.
It's just a Cobalt LT engine. That's all it is.
Yeah, but it's not the PT Cruiser?
Yeah.
The PT Cruiser is a Dodge Neon.
The PT Cruiser? Wait, what was the one that they were using?
HHR.
Oh, they had the HHR. My fault.
Yeah.
My fault.
HHR is the Cobalt. PT Cruiser.
Yes.
Both trash. Complete trash.
So that had the neon shit in it, didn't it?
Yeah.
Ugh.
That was Remy. What?
Cindy said, "What about the Gremlins?" Yeah.
All right. So I was going to bring this up, and I want to be particularly specific about this. You hear all these car guys talking about different fast cars, and they never, ever, ever bring up the Gremlin. The Gremlin is never mentioned. And the reason is you cannot take the Gremlin runs such an unreasonable power to weight ratio that it doesn't even qualify to go to most drag strips. It has to be in like its open class because it's not a sedan. It's not quite a hatchback. It's heavier than most of your modern hatchbacks, that kind of stuff, right? But you could throw a freaking 318 under the hood and you could straight up smoke Corvettes. It was ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, it's just like the Vegas that everybody passed up the Novas or passed up for the Novas until the racing world ran out of Novas and they figured out the Vegas are smaller and lighter anyway.
Yeah.
You know, now Vegas more valuable than a Nova.
That was Remy. What?
You guys seen the commercials back when those freaking Fiat 500 started selling back in the States again? Those little box car things. All right, the freaking valve train on top of the motor, shite, straight shite, bud. I have seen people have head issues, like their interference engine, like most newer ones are. They have tolerance discrepancies in that they work with, and they don't keep up with tolerances and stuff in manufacturing. So there's been multiple people complaining about their cars shitting the bed before 50, 70,000 miles. Like, done.
Dodges are doing the same thing. All of your I want to call
Fiat owns them.
The darts, I know. The darts or whatever they're calling them now. We're telling people their engines are bad before 100,000 miles over minor overheats. We're like, yeah, your engine's blowing up.
It's
later, Dennis.
It's definitely not a Chrysler product anymore. That's Fiat Chrysler Corporation. They definitely they don't even keep a lot of the engine designs. They weren't allowed to buy certain designs of engines.
Y'all ever have access to the LeBaron?
Do what?
The LeBaron? Y'all remember that?
The little Sebring lookalike thing with the soft top.
Dude, say what you will about that thing. My sister bought one of those in like high school to drive to college, and she drove it for like 4 years. And when she sold it for more than she bought it for after driving it 4 years. That thing sounded like it was about to fall apart. Right? The rattle on those things is unreal. And you know LeBaron, when it cranks up, you hear that thing do that dry rattle start.
Yeah.
Perfectly ordinary. It is not anything to worry about. Do not try
exhaust
to
shields, bud. That's all.
Dude, that was the valve. It was designed to run wild ass valve lash, dude. It's crazy.
That was like the Cavaliers, dude. They sounded like a vacuum cleaner, bro. Yeah, they sound like a vacuum cleaner. When you
sound like somebody shaking a box of tools. It's crazy.
Yeah, there's so many crappy cars on the market that just keep going. It is ridiculous. But these modern ones that they're coming out now, your butter zone for quality cars is about 2000 to 2005, maybe 07 in the Toyotas or whatever, and that's only your Toyotas and Hondas. Your newer ones are not going to be your 300,000 mile cars. They're not designed like that. They're not built.
No, they're starting.
And they're not anymore. Same with your trucks. 2000 2005 were your best trucks. Those were the best years of auto repair.
So there's one engine in the Honda dynasty that I disagree with you on, and I can't remember when it changed. I think it changed in 2013.
I'm a Honda.
Honda made a V6.
J32.
Yeah.
Or the J35. We have one in the fucking driveway right now, that piece of shit. I wish I could light it on fire. I love Hondas too.
I hate that engine.
Dude, the J35. So, like, all right, this thing started a multiple misfire, bro. Like I've changed oils out. I've done the VTM4 sensor in the rear diff because I heard that could set it off and make it act funny. Put it kind of into a limp mode. I did that.
Brand new. Have never had a single problem with it. Nothing.
Injectors. What else did I do? Oh, I have the belt for the timing belt downstairs, and I'm sure that wasn't changed.
She's wanting to trade it in. I'm saying let's put a rebuild on the engine and just throw it back in there, dude. We might get another 200,000 miles out of that thing.
Pull your EGR valve. Pull your EGR valve and make yourself a blocker plate and put it underneath the EGR valve and put it back on. You can use cardboard or anything you want. Just make yourself a blocker plate, put it under the EGR valve, put it back on. That's why I hate those engines and multiple misfires, because you always adjust the valves, tune it up, replace the coils, do the timing belt.
They were never done, bud. The exhaust valves are smashed to the cam lobes, dude.
Yeah. Do this, do that. But for your multiple misfires, pull your EGR valve, make a blocker plate, put it under the EGR valve, drive it however long it takes you to see if it's going to throw a misfire, because they had a problem with the EGR valves leaking just enough that they threw a fucking misfire. It's annoying as shit.
Well, it's only 3 cylinders, and what I'm thinking is we've hopped a cog on one of the cams, or it's hopped a cog on the bottom crank pulley. I think that because I know that the order, so the numbers on their engine are set up like the Fords, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we've got 3, 5, and 6 that are throwing misfire codes, and they are actually in a row in the firing order. Not in that order, but 3, 5, and 6 are right next to each other in the firing order. And those are the ones that are thrown off. So I'm thinking maybe the belt's a little fucked.
All right, the VTM is actually a cylinder shutdown engine, right?
What, the sensor for your diff?
No, the VTC, God damn it, I'm probably using the wrong name. The Honda 3.5 is actually a cylinder shutdown engine. I did not know that until a couple of years ago. The fact that you're throwing the codes on the 3 cylinders, give me just a second. I'll get information up. But you can have an issue with that.
I gotta go.
You gotta go. All right, Scotch.
Y'all have a lovely evening.
Peace out, man. Nice to meet you.
Remy, what? I'm sorry. I was
Remy the Ripper.
No, I'm for to tell you what. Put it in private chat. How to find you on Facebook?
Oh, Remy Bartholomew.
Oh, okay. Why didn't I remember that? I have so many Bartholomews in my family.
Irish, but our ancestors were landowners, royalty over there.
Me too.
A lot of our ancestors were. Pay them some respect and live a good life, huh?
Are you a digital creator with 89 followers?
Only got 89 at the moment. Yep. Some of my views there, we get a couple thousand on shorts and stuff. So.
Okay, Remy, you're going to have to do the footwork on that one. What is your 3.5 older or newer than 2008?
It is the 08. So I got to check the piston rings too, bud.
Well, that's the first year supposedly of the cylinder deactivation. So get online, look at the cylinder deactivation, and make sure that your misfire codes aren't for the cylinders that are supposed to be deactivated.
Yeah, I got to check the.
Zackson, I'm out. I appreciate it. Much love to everybody. Thank you for having me. Sasquatch out. Y'all be cool.
Bye. Thank you, man.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I gotta run the VIN and find out exactly which one it was, but they had a piston ring issue also that the new piston ring design that they used would allow oil to come up and flood some of the cylinders. So when I did spark plugs, the injectors and all that other crap that I just said, none of them were, they weren't wet and soaked with oil, bud. Like I would have known if it was soaked like that, but I wasn't seeing that. But I'm getting fire on the coils when I pull them out and swap them around.
Yeah.
I'm still getting a hot fire on each one. So I don't know. I'm probably thinking because it's 3, 5, and 6 are in a row in the firing order, not that one. But like I said, they're in line in the firing order. And if that belt hopped like one cog on one of those, it could throw those numbers off, and now it's throwing a misfire on them, or the belt's stretched.
Misfires are one of the biggest pains in the ass in those engines, and that's why I hate them. I would definitely block the EGR and check it with that. If you're worried about your cam timing being one gear off, do a full compression test. If your cam timing is off on one bank, it will be lower compression. You might have 210 one side, 180 on the other. They're not known for jumping time though.
That's the high compression too. That should be somewhere in the 120, 130 area with good compression. But what I'm saying is, I don't know how bad the bottom of the valve seats got, because these freaking valves were smashed, dude, to the cam.
That engine's going to be 180, 200 in the compression.
What's that? It should be higher.
That engine will be 180 to 200 in the compression. Yeah, if you don't have over 150 on every cylinder, that engine's got something seriously wrong.
Right. Yeah, because it's a higher compression interference engine.
It is.
Yeah, they're tight squish and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. 3.5s, misfires are the problems on those. We fix them with EGRs. Valve adjustment.
They're tanks when they run good, bud. Like, it's just that this one was never maintained. She didn't have a boyfriend back in the day that knew what he was doing with vehicles. There was nothing done to it. It's over 200,000 miles. And I'm like, dude, you can get more out of this. I don't know why we're having all these issues just jump out of nowhere. So I've been, suspension components and everything that needs to go on it, tires, brakes, wheel bearings, blah, blah, blah. But then this happened when she was coming home from work, and it's just been sitting in a driveway, bud. There's no rust on the bottom of it. The engine's clean, bud. Like, I clean it when I took it apart. I had the manifold and everything off it. Yeah. Have to. You got to get the injectors and everything out. I had to. I had to do the valve lash. So it's like that back bank. I'm not pulling it. I'm just going to pull the intake off and get the valve off and do it that way. Or the valve cover.
Yeah, the back bank's the problem. Getting that rear valve cover off is bullshit on those cars.
Oh my God, dude. It was such a pain in the ass to freaking lash valves. I got it done, bro, but dude, that was not fun.
Even adjusting valves isn't as hard as getting enough clearance to get the valve cover off. I hate those engines.
Yeah. I didn't have an issue with mine. I really didn't. It was.
Well, no, they're good. They're good engines until they throw that stupid misfire, and then they fuck with me continuously, because you got to understand, I'm a shop, and somebody brings me something for a misfire, and I do work on it, and the misfires come back. That's problems for me, because if the misfire comes back, obviously I'm watching misfires on the scanner before they go out. But if the misfire comes back, then the people are back. Hey, well, I'm just having you.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm sorry, your car's a fucking piece of crap Honda with a 3.5 that misfires. It's a pain, because when something comes back, at least at our shop, if we do a repair and the issue comes back, now I know about the 3.5s, and they're pre-warned about all these issues. So it's not as bad. But like in the beginning, where it would come in for a misfire, I would do a tune-up and kick it out. If you showed back up the next day with the check engine light on for misfire, we put our warranty work as a priority above everybody. At my shop, the priority list goes warranties, because we don't have our work go bad. So we take care of those first. Appointments, businesses, and then whatever wanders in, or whatever was already there. If I bring yours in and I tell you got to give me a few days, if something that's higher on the picking order comes in, you just gotta wait.
Yeah, I feel like I want to. So our issue is that Vermont's real strict with inspection process and the way they allow you to have your cars here.
Yeah.
So,
Billy, I see you there, but you got to turn your camera on, man.
Yeah, we've had some serious issues when it comes to the technical side of keeping your car legal here. Like, they've got a no rust law. There cannot be a single light on for nothing on your car. Like New York, you can have an airbag light off and disable your airbag system, but you can still get an inspection. Here, you can't.
Out in Cali, you have to pass emissions, which means no check engine light. Different years have different emissions requirements and things like that. They don't care if your airbag light's on. They don't care if your seatbelt light's on. They don't care. It's illegal to have a broken windshield, but we don't care for your sticker. We don't actually give you a sticker. We just do the smog test. State gives you a sticker. They don't care about your control arms, your brakes, your ball joints, rust, None of that matters. Um, they just want to see that you pass emissions, and it's like I was complaining about. I don't think you were here yet. You know, Cali has all this emissions craps, but these vehicles are so unsafe because people don't fix nothing.
Yeah.
They run them into the ground.
The only thing they don't fuck with you here, we've got a 16-year-old and older exclusion. So anything 16 years old or older goes through a safety check, and that's it.
Hell,
But,
I see 5 years old.
Yeah, we've got 16 years here or older. But if you want to retitle a vehicle, the Vermont loophole is no longer open because people were taking advantage of it and riding around with Vermont plates out of state and ruined it for everybody else to get their car some paperwork. So thanks to all those who did that, if they ever see this. Like, for real, though. I mean, here being a resident, you can actually get papers for vehicles. But like I used to be able to live in New York. If the vehicle wasn't stolen, I ran the paperwork, made sure, or the VIN, made sure it wasn't stolen. I purchased the vehicle. I had a written bill of sale. I could do my paperwork with Vermont, spend about $250, and a couple weeks later to a month later, you'll get your papers in the mail with a registration and a plate, and then you take that to your DMV and put it in your DMV. But people weren't doing that. They were taking the Vermont shit and slapping it on their car wherever and driving wherever. Now it's a little bit more of a hassle. I'm going to have to figure out what it takes to actually get papers for any machines nowadays because they just changed that stuff.
Yeah, I mean you can try and get some out of state plates. That's what a lot of people do here just to dodge taxes. That's just what they do to dodge taxes. But it is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the TPMS sensors are excluded. They don't give a shit about TPMS sensors. So if you got that light on, they don't give a crap. I told them straight up. I pulled all 4 out of the car. I don't like them. I pulled all 4 out when we did tires on ours. So they didn't give us a hassle about that at all.
Yeah, I personally like tire pressure monitors. Thomas 907's Alaska. He says you just got to have a horn and a gun up there.
Well,
horn and lights.
I like being able to see visually what my pressure is, but these ones on our car, they don't. It just tells you if it's by standards, by its settings, if it's low. So, I mean, it's just a pain in the ass. And then if I've noticed that the valves like to leak right where the rubber goes into the unit on the backside of the rim, right at that seam, they tend to like to come out of the little monitor. So,
yeah, I've had zero problems with them in my personal cars. I keep my tires at 40. I usually get about 10 years out of the sensors. They've been good to me. I deal with a lot of problems in customer cars with them, but they've been good to me. Personally, I like starting my car up and go, oh yeah, the tire's low. Same with an oil change light. It's so easy. It's so easy to know when your oil needs change. The freaking light come on.
A lot of their specs for stuff are over what spec is, though. So they have an hour counter on there, and they'll tell you longer than what you're supposed to actually do it, just so your car fucks up earlier, so you can go get things worked on.
It depends. It's like Toyota now. You buy a new Toyota, even though your maintenance required light's going to come on every 5,000 miles, they only change the oil every 10. Which I'm
none of that.
I'm not okay with. I change my oil every 5,000, and that works fine.
I'm okay with extra maintenance, dude. I'm okay with that.
To a point, I go every 5. It works just fine.
I try not to, but I used to do stuff like that when I was younger, but I got into this OCD of trying to make sure I take care of my shit, because I didn't have a lot when I was younger. So I try to hold on to what I got and treat it real good. Like every week on payday, I'll pull the hood when I go to leave for work. I'll check all my fluids and look at everything and Like I invest in stainless exhaust on all my vehicles now. They're expensive, but it's worth it. You don't have to fart with an exhaust later.
I mean, taking care of your stuff is vital. If you're not, this crap costs you a lot of money. Take care of it.
Oh, heck yeah.
You know, I take care of mine within reason. Everything gets taken care of to the point of what its particular jobs are. Quite frankly, the cars that need the most work or the least work in my collection, which I have 5, the cars that need the least work are my off-road trucks. I could do work on them, but they don't need work. You know, my family car could use some rotors turned and maybe a couple of control arms. My work truck, we just won't even get started on that. It makes it to work. That's all I'm going to say on that. My daughter's car is good. I don't know, maybe it's the best. But my Land Cruiser, it doesn't need anything. It could use stuff. It doesn't need anything. My Blazer could use a little bit more, but I can still get in it and go.
Yeah.
You know, I try to take care of them within reason, and I have absolutely no problem going out and using my vehicles for what they're made for, and I do it all the time.
Yeah. I try to keep purpose-built shit. You know, if it's a daily driver, I gotta baby it and be nice to it, and reserved. When I do open it up, it's reserved just to make sure things aren't getting gummed up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I see a lot of, you know, there's always the arguments with Jeep guys and the Toyota guys. You know, the Jeep guys are all proud that they'll put their little Cherokees into the rock wall and tear up, you know, quarter panels and all that because they can get parts and everything cheap. And you know, you see in their little hashtags or titles, oh, let's see you put your Land Cruiser into a wall. No, I like my Land Cruiser. What the hell do I want to put my Land Cruiser into a rock wall? You know, that's not on my ideal list of things to do.
Thomas 907 says I can fix anything. Billy goes, fix my ex. Yeah. Oh, man.
Billy, that is one skill men do not possess.
Jeez.
We do not repair those. Yeah, Fairy Dust, you got to go to someone who's going to check it and do a decent job. 907, you know who he is, right, Remy?
No.
Oh, Thomas 907 is up in Alaska. He's one of the gold guys. He's up in Alaska. He's usually over on JP Lawn's bar stream. But real nice guy, great guy. But he either works in or his family owns a junkyard in Alaska. I don't know exactly what. I don't know the details on that. But that dude's out there in the freezing cold Alaskan winter pulling parts and fixing cars and trucks and equipment and whatever.
I believe it, bud. Yeah.
Whatever.
Has he, Thomas 907, have you ever had the chance to go to your guys' drag strip over there? I've been hearing a lot about that lately online. I've been curious if you been over there. You should see the finish line picture, bud. If you ain't seen that before, Zackson, check that out, bud.
I haven't.
Alaska Dragway over there. The backdrop for the drag racers is this freaking picture perfect mountain range in the background while you're at the tree ready to take off, dude. It is the freaking coolest thing ever.
Well, you see, to us, that's the coolest thing ever, and it's just these epic views and all that. To Thomas, that's just his backyard. That's what he sees every day.
Right.
I've seen him live streaming or you know, you see some of his videos. That's just what he sees. But he's got a gold claim up there in Alaska. Yeah, he works that during the summer, I guess, but 907's a nice guy.
That's pretty cool. Tough bastards up there, I tell you that. I say that with respect.
Oh, that's hard living.
Yeah, it's hard living for people who don't like to work and do things the old way. You got to be resourceful and think outside the box to not use money, because you're going to freaking go broke trying to live off money up there.
Yeah. They're just.
Beer is worth less than water. So you could pay less for a 30 rack than you would for a case of water up there, bud. He says, yeah, okay, anything mechanical.
I saw that.
What's up, Blue Dude?
I get the cold, man. I could not deal with the kind of cold they got. Their summer is like our late fall, early winter.
I love the wintertime. I get cold, like the beard gets froze up, and like if you, I don't know, it's weird. It's like when we get a nice snowstorm coming in, I'd like to be out in it, because it's like this warm pocket during the wintertime. It's like the ozone kind of holds some heat and feels a little warmer when the storm's going to me. And then once that overcast goes away, then it gets freaking cold. 15 degrees out now. Dude, you're a freaking trooper. Rock on, man.
I don't even think it's winter for him yet. That's just cooling off.
Yeah, I'm sure, but they're not. He said not. It's not negative.
Hello, Luke. He's called into shows or things like that. I swear I remember seeing part of his winter or his drive home or something like that. And the dude's just Eskimo. They don't build them like that. They're just cold.
Yeah, you got to layer up. Know how to layer. My dad, he brought me up to be going to Alaska. He did that trip I was telling you about. He did that trip, came back. He said he would not move over there. He could not believe the amount of poverty. My dad got cold feet about it when he went on vacay and was trying to just look around and see how it was if he was going to move there. He kind of brought me up and molded me to go there, you know. Then he comes back, tells me no. I'm not going. I said, well, you see, you want to go move there now? And he's like, no.
I couldn't go there without the retirement. Trying to scratch a living out of that would just be too hard. I
just don't think it's the environment for a 9 to 5.
9:07. It's still 75 degrees here and 11 o'clock at night. You can't fucking see it. It's still 75 degrees here and 10:40 at night.
You lucky. I wish it was 70. I'd be going to the drag strip tomorrow.
I still got the cooler.
Oh man. Thomas, yeah, all about layers. Big facts. They don't make goose down vests and stuff like they used to, man. And where's all the insulated freaking jeans at, dude? Like, where'd they all go to? The wool-lined ones?
Well, that's down here. We can't get cold weather gear. Any kind of cold weather gear, you just can't get it.
I got a Woolrich jacket, but that's like, I'm lucky to have that. My dad actually gave me that. I didn't know they were as expensive as they were, man. I roll around underneath the cars with it and found out it's like $480 to $700 freaking coat, dude. I was like, oh shit. Been rolling around in the dirt and grease under cars and stuff with it.
I survived winter in a sweater and a Dickies jacket. You know, your standard issue Dickies mechanics jacket. That's how I survive winter. A sweater under it and that.
That ain't enough for me. I go double, triple up on the layer under pants if it's real cold. There's certain types of pants that I like now. These ridge cuts that Tractor Supply carries, they're like water repellent. They're double layered knees. The pockets, they're mad tough. Like the insides are really tough. I walk through wet brush in the woods with these things, and the water just repels right off of them, man. It's awesome. You stay dry if you have a couple layers of like nice, like polypropylene or some fleece underlayer or something.
Yeah, I know anything can be ordered off of the internet, Joseph, but at the end of the day, you don't need a lot of it. I just suffer because I'm cheap. What the hell was I going to say? The problem down here is I might go to work and I'm going to say freezing cold. Thomas, don't roast me on that one. I go to work when it's freezing cold, 30, 32 degrees, and it's cold, but by 2 or 3, it's 50 or 60. It's hot, or hot enough that you got to strip everything off. It's annoying as sin.
I've started to get picky in my old age about what I wear for my outerwear. Carhartt used to be something I wore, not anymore. Reason being, when it's really, really freaking cold out and you're out there chasing hounds for 8-10 hours in a blizzard, you know what I mean? Your face froze up. You can't feel your feet no more. Like,
no, Rip, actually, I don't.
Dude, I'm telling you what, it's not good to be out there if you ain't worn the right clothes. And if that wind's cutting through you, I'll tell you right now, you're going to regret even going outside. So anything that I use for outerwear, I go and make sure it's something that the wind can't breathe through. My gloves especially too. Like the garment in question cannot have the wind go through it, especially if it's my outerwear.
Yeah, it's just totally different climates.
I miss the old school pullover Carhartt suits, the heavy duty ones, but used to wear those out snowmobiling as a kid.
Yeah, if we lived in colder climate, we'd have more access to that stuff, but it's just not that required down.
Nah.
We're talking the temperature swings out here. I have been swamped in January before replacing AC systems because the people are hot. No, doing huge AC system jobs in January is ridiculous, but it was hot.
Oh man, yeah. The wood stove is always my best friend when I was younger, but
oh yeah, I like fires. There's just no need.
Being inside there, my dad would have that place so hot that on the thermometer it would read like 120. You'd open up the cabinets to try and grab some dishes for dinner or something, and you burn your hand, drop the dishes. A couple of us have done that before.
Did you ever stack steel around your wood stove?
No, we just did a pot of water to try and keep humidity in the air.
Yeah, we had back in our bad years, we had a wood stove at one of these houses, and to get the place warm, they took the wood stove and they put the exhaust at like, I don't know, whatever degrees, and they made that exhaust pipe run all the way across that wall and then go out of the roof, and then they also stacked a bunch of brake rotors, any kind of steel they could find to just absorb and reflect the heat. And you fire that thing up, get it going for a little bit, and then you could just let the fire calm down and everything would just radiate out the heat. It was it worked pretty well.
Yeah, that's something that we didn't know about back in the day, but I brought that up to my dad because he still uses that darn thing. I mean, there's an Alaskan way that they use a single pipe coming up out the stove, and then they put a 4-way T in it, single shoot up, and then 2 T's next to each other. So it goes up, 2 pipes go out, 90s, up, 90s, back together, joining the straight one. So it creates a lot more surface area on the pipe before the heat actually goes out the top of the house.
Yeah, that's why they did the pipe sideways, and then they stacked all the steel around it. You could do the same thing with rocks if you could get dry rocks.
Yeah, they did. They're called masonry fireplace or something like that. They got a bunch of flues in the inside of them. They do them real fancy too. They put a bunch of flues zigzag through the inside of it and do it with brick or something.
The big thing they're building now is in these new modern homes that they're building around here. Understand that we don't use firewood for heating. They're building what's called zero clearance fireplaces. And basically, it's a crappy little fireplace insert with a little make-believe masonry the fireplace, and you can have a fire in it, but you can't heat your house. My brother has a newer house, and he says I load it and I load it and I load it. No matter what I can do, I can't get this house hot. Then he had a contractor come over to explain to him. He says, basically, it's a fake fireplace. He says it's called zero clearance. If you keep burning it like that, you're going to burn the wood behind it. It's made so you can sit there and have a fire to look at. It's not real stone or anything like that that's going to heat your house.
Mm-hmm.
So, thanks for coming. Yeah, I'm gonna get off for the night. Thank you everybody for coming in. It was fun. I was surprised how many people came, and I hope everyone has a great night. So thank you guys. Thank you, Billy. Be sure to stop by. If you guys don't, I guess I won't be there tomorrow night. I'm usually over at Digging It Back's stream on Saturday nights, but I guess I'm busy then this Saturday again. But thank you all for coming in. It was fun. Minix,
y'all.
You're still here. Later, guys.